This is the Pro Volleyball Federation on the Roku Sports Channel in beautiful San Diego, California. The 14-8 second place Atlanta Vibe come running in with a league active high 8-match winning streak. They're looking to tie a PVF record and make it 9 tonight, but the Mojo are fierce protectors of their home turf. Atlanta coming in once again in second place. The top 4 teams make the postseason. Atlanta only has 6 matches left to go, including tonight. San Diego has 8, but a lot more ground to make up. Orlando and Indy are tied for the final playoff spot. San Diego well back of those 2 teams right now. And thanks so much for joining us, AJ Canal, alongside everyone's favorite former Beach star Madison Fitzpatrick. An 8-match winning streak for the Atlanta Vibe. What's been the most impressive thing about this winning streak?
One of the most impressive things is that they have defeated every team in the league except for Omaha. They haven't played Omaha in this stretch, but defensively been so dominant, offensively been really balanced. The cool thing about San Diego, though, is that they are a streak snapper. The Orlando Valkyries set the record with 9, and it was the Mojo that snapped that streak. They're going to look to do that today.
One thing they haven't done, though, is defeat Atlanta ever. 7-0 all-time are the Vibe against San Diego. Leah Edmond, 2 times this year against the Mojo, 20-plus kills.
Leah Edmond is absolutely incredible. She was last season's MVP, and she is most definitely in the conversation to be this season's MVP. When she goes off at times, she's seemingly unstoppable. She's extremely physical and attacks the ball with purpose and power every set. She's leading the league in points with well over 300 kills. She's top 5 in digs as well. Watch Edmond to look to punish the ball here tonight. For San Diego, watch the hot hands. The go-to, Kendra Dalkey. Dalkey has a unique swing. It's super quick, and she gets the block in a lot of trouble with her aggression and transition. With a window that Coach Aneve Park says is just continuing to expand, the outside is a threat across the league. She's leading her team by well over 100 kills. She's top 5 in kills in the league. And with over 200 digs, watch her get a lot of sets tonight.
Tonight's starting lineups are brought to you by Ren Athletics. This is the expected group for San Diego. Both Dalkey and Tabron in the outsider. Red hot as of late. Veronica Stone really picking it up. 9-plus kills each of the last 5 matches for last year's all PVF second team middle blocker. Lauren Page getting her 5th straight start at opposite, joined by Sponsel and Venegas in charge of ball control. For Atlanta, Micaiah White was recently signed. She gets her first start as a member of the Vibe, joining Edmond on the outside. Lewis and Vicini in the middle have been fantastic. Aiko Jones stepping in mid-season for Beeson at that right front spot has been great as well. Monserrat and Hens doesn't get better than that at the setter and libero position in this league. And the head coach in her first year for the Atlanta Vibe is Kayla Banworth. One thing both head coaches in this matchup have in common: Olympic medalists for Team USA. For Kayla, that was in 2016 in Rio. She captured bronze. And for Taiba Hanif Park, recently officially announced that she's going to the USA Volleyball Hall of Fame. She was a 2-time silver medalist in 2008 and 2012, as we are underway in San Diego. Venegas with a back set to Dalkey. To the back row, and White. It's a nice first point, an extended first point. Diving play by Sponsel. Looking like one of those serve and pass warm-ups that you see when they're hitting in the back row. An extended rally, and Dalkey finally puts an end to it.
That rally is the perfect example of how elite both of these teams' defenses are. The middle back defenders are all over the court, and then the liberos lock down that left back position.
Usually they start in the morning with kind of a look like that, where they're hitting about 75%, and the ball just sort of stays up. That was a very long rally on the opening point of the match, as that is blocked right back down on Lauren Page, and Atlanta sides out.
Leah Edmond is super physical and invasive, and she set that block in the perfect position. Vicini there to close, and that was a brick wall.
Now Vicini is the server. Some indecision in the back row in serve receive for San Diego. And a miss hit there from Dalkey.
That's going to be the key for this Atlanta Vibe team. Assistant coach Doyen said last few times they've played, they haven't challenged the Mojo enough with their serve. So they're going to bring the service pressure from the very first set on.
Run in the middle to Reagan Pittman, who's been an absolute beast as a blocker, coming off a career-high tying 7 blocks in their win against Vegas, but gets involved offensively there.
And last match versus Atlanta, she had 10 kills, she hit 400. It's going to be an emphasis for San Diego to get the middles going early.
Now, even though Atlanta has won every single match in the series history, there have been some really competitive matches this season between these two teams. Aiko Jones splits the block right there. What a surge for her mid-season and on for this Vibe team.
Absolutely, and she's coming off of leading her team in blocks, so not just offensively, but defensively, she's a powerhouse as well.
Well, the last time these teams met was in Georgia on March 28th. Atlanta actually set a team attendance record in that one. San Diego had 2 different runs of 6-0 or more, with Atlanta on the verge of winning a set, including a 7-0 run on match point to send the 4th set to deuce. Atlanta did win the next 2 points after that to clinch out the match in 4. Atlanta also won in a reverse sweep in Georgia in mid-March, so there have been some entertaining matches between these two teams. Despite being located different parts of the standings, once again, Page is sent away. We talked about that big block that Leah Edmond helped set up on the outside.
And Corey Lewis can get there and close, and then watch how fast she is side to side, diving those arms into the seam and shutting off the angle.
Tabron beats the block out there and scores.
We were talking about before the match how Maya Tabron has just exploded onto the scene here. Her last 5 matches, she's had easily double-digit kills in 4. She's had a lot of production on that outside.
She is averaging 4.4 kills per set, 3.65 digs per set over the last 5 matches. On fire right now, Maya Tabron, both offensively and defensively. Edmond and White both keep it up for Atlanta. They're allowed to touch it twice in that situation, by the way, from White. Once was as a blocker. Edmond going middle. I think that maybe just hit the net there. It was hard to tell how much the block actually got of that.
And the San Diego block was all over that, if they got hands on it or not. One of the interesting things, the last time these two teams played, San Diego outblocked Atlanta 14-10, so they were locked in defensively.
That's something both teams have been doing well. Atlanta has double-figure blocks in each of their last 3 matches, despite 2 of those being just 3-set matches. And over San Diego's last 3 matches, they're at 3.5 blocks per set, a really, really high number. That's some talented hitters, but a lot for them to work through tonight. Micaiah White getting her first start for the Vibe. And it hits the block, ends up landing out. And Micaiah White gets the kill, former star at Texas. She was signed on March 22nd after completing her season in Turkey. The team didn't qualify for the postseason, so she got out early, signed in the PVF with Atlanta. Tabron covers her own. Joust situation, and Stone wins the confrontation against Monserrat.
One of the reasons why Veronica Stone is such an elite blocker is because she's extremely disciplined and patient. She is holding on that front row setter, and she's expecting the on-2, pressing those arms and getting the block.
Clips the net, and Maya Tabron with an ace, her 6th of the season.
The top of the tape can either be your best friend or your worst enemy, and a lot of times it's really difficult to get underneath the ball and pass it up when that serve hits the tape like that.
Timeout on the court early on here in San Diego. The Mojo looking to get their first ever win against Atlanta. Starting out this match well. Franklin Sports is a proud partner of the Pro Volleyball Federation on the Roku Sports channel. Getting a look at Viejas Arena here on the campus of San Diego State University. A cavernous building. It seats over 12,000. That was a media timeout. San Diego with the serve coming out of it. Over the block, White. Kept up by Tabron. Now Dalkey covers her own hip. Short tip, Morgan Hentz all over it. And after the dive from Page, this point is still in play. Edmond going short. Stone bumps it back to safety. Edmond explodes out of the back row for Atlanta.
That free ball was a gift. Atlanta said, thank you very much. Running the big to Leah Edmond. Watch how quickly in the back row she rises up to the ball. She contacts it at such a high point, even from the back row, and attacks it before it drops at all. She's hitting it at its highest point.
Former Kentucky star, she's been a champion in Athletes Unlimited, which of course is an individual crown, and she was last year's Pro Volleyball Federation MVP in the inaugural season. As Ronica Stone sides out, goes back to serve. San Diego up by 2 early against Atlanta. Marley Monserrat. Well to the outside, wrapping it around that antenna a little bit. Micaiah White converts for the bye.
Micaiah White is so extremely athletic. She looked a little off balance on that swing, but with all that body control, power, and athleticism, she was able to sneak it through the block and get the tool.
Good out-of-system conversion for San Diego, and it's ripped down the line by Dalkey.
Coach Eve Park told us that Dalkey takes aggressive swings in moments you really wouldn't expect her to. I would say this right there was one of them. Coming from that back row, able to get the swing on it with all that power.
White, the one-handed cover. Venegas on the second touch to Dalkey. Right into the pocket for Hentz. Back row swing, triple block is there against Micaiah White.
It's so difficult to get a kill around that triple block that is set, so disciplined, up and pressed at the right time. It creates 6 hands right in front of your face, such a wall. It was Kendra Dalkey's right hand that got the stuff.
Both teams hitting 100 or worse. Defense has been on top. At the start, another block. Reagan Pittman gets it to the floor, and Atlanta is forced to call timeout, down by 4 in the first set.
I like how aggressive the San Diego Mojo is starting out. They're serving aggressively. They're mixing up their offense. They've been good in transition, and then the block has been an absolute wall for them so far. That's really been the difference maker.
Reagan Pittman got activated on February 26th. She'd spent some time on injured reserve and the practice squad. 8 appearances since February 26th. 1.3 blocks per set during that time. That's a massive number at this level.
Coach Eve Park said that we haven't seen the best of her ability yet. She is such a threat in this league, and those stats, like you just said, are extremely elite. She's so long and athletic. You can run her both ways, but defensively, she's really difficult to get around.
Pittman was on Atlanta last season. Pittman and Kamaile Hiapo, who is a defensive specialist for San Diego, playing against their former team, which Atlanta was the regular season champion last year. Made the playoffs as the 1 seed, got bounced surprisingly in the semis by Grand Rapids. San Diego lost in the semis as well last season against Omaha. So a couple of semifinalists from last year doing battle here in Viejas Arena in San Diego. Perfect pass by Edmond, and she rips it home. Pass to attack. That's as good as it gets for last year's MVP.
And why you target that front row attacker that's pulling back to serve receive is because you want to take them out of the offense. But Leah Edmond handled that first ball contact beautifully, got rewarded with the set, and Marley Monserrat set her up in a one-on-one situation.
Sometimes that approach backfires, because you look at her there, she was perfectly in rhythm, but you understand it. You want to try and take her out of the play. Another big block from Pittman in the middle.
Reagan Pittman was closed on that block. On the play before, she didn't get there, and that's what allowed Atlanta to get the kill. But there, she was closed up and pressed. And it's not just throwing your hands over the net, it's pressing at the right time, pointing those palms back to 6.
Corey Lewis is different out of the middle.
She is built different, isn't she? And she was in college, too. She contacts that ball at such a high point and is able to create so many angles for herself because of how high she contacts.
You can tell me she touches like any number out of
It's 10-something. It's almost 11.
Whatever it is, I believe it. D-ball Jones. There's Dalkey on the pickup. Big block touch gives Atlanta an opportunity in transition. Lewis on the slide. Dalkey another dig. This has to be cut inbounds. Good job by Page just to keep the play going. Tip, good decision, Tabron.
I like that you pointed out that good shot by Page because she did that on purpose. She's trying to hit into the block, recycle it back, give her team a chance to score in transition, and that's a point of emphasis for the San Diego team. Coach Anif Park said we have to be efficient in transition. Right there, really smart shot to finish the play.
And that's why the numbers don't always tell the story on the outside, because she gets credit for basically 0 for that hit. If you did that all day, you'd be hitting 0, but it was an effective shot in that rally. But a good response from Atlanta on the joust as Tabron winds up getting blocked. Now Leah Edmond is second behind Natalie Foster of Orlando in the PVF in aces. An effective serve from Edmond. Similar situation there. Good swing again from Page, but Edmond is just undeniable behind the attack line.
She contacts that ball with so much power and heat. She wants that ball to hit the floor every single time she swings, and it's evident by her demeanor.
There you go, on cue. Most aces in a season all time. And the top 2 both are taking place this season. Of course, the second season of the Pro Volleyball Federation. Saw De La Cruz with the top mark last year. And now Lauren Page will serve, getting her 5th straight start. She played collegiately at Oregon. She's from Riverside, California, so playing close to home. Sponsel with the set. That is up and over. And heading up the Pacific Coast Highway for Tabron.
Tabron was trying to grab the top fingertip, swinging underneath the ball, trying to tool off of the high hands. Just got a little too far underneath it, couldn't get enough snap.
See hitters have success trying to hit high like that, get that touch on purpose, but Tabron just a little bit over the top there. Now Sponsel reacts nicely. Sarah Sponsel, a star on the beach, has taken her game indoors and is now setting for San Diego with their starting setter Da-Young Lee on injured reserve since March 21st. The Mojo have held Atlanta at arm's length here in the first set. Timeout. (16-13) San Diego, and the technical timeout, leading Atlanta by 3, best 3 out of 5. And you look at the top winning streaks in PVF history. Atlanta is all over this list. The 2 at the bottom were both last season. That 8 match winning streak is current, and Atlanta has a chance to win tonight and match Orlando, which earlier this season won 9 straight.
9 straight, and the team that snapped that streak was the Mojo. So they are primed and ready to ruin somebody's day and get the upset.
It's the Vibe versus the Mojo. It's a very hippy-dippy matchup here in San Diego. Andrew Dalkey, so many ways to score. Got to go back to her. Looking for a touch, and Bill Stanley, the R1, says there wasn't a touch there. Davide McClarty is the R2 this evening. Thanks for staying up late with us if you're not on West Coast time. AJ Cannell, Madison Fitzpatrick with you on the Roku Sports Channel. 7 o'clock local time start. Nobody hotter in the PVF right now than the Atlanta Vibe. And Edmond late to react to that one. But what do you make of it, though? I was just watching Micaiah White during this point. You're a team in Atlanta that has won 8 in a row, and you make a lineup change, replacing Kia Timmer with White. You don't normally see a team do that when they're on a long winning streak.
That's such a good point, but I think Micaiah White brings something to the position. She brings a lot of power. She had played in 1 set earlier this season, recorded 5 kills on 7 attempts, 0 errors, hit 714. So she has proven that she can come into the lineup and make a huge impact.
I mean, she was brought in for a reason. She was a 4-time All-American in Texas. She had competed internationally in Turkey most recently and had a great season as Dalkey slams it home. I'm sure they still have a ton of confidence in Timmer, who in her 2nd year as a pro out of Washington State University has had a really good year for Atlanta in a variety of ways. So they have a lot of depth right now. The Vibe do on the outside. Substitute coming in. And that is Yasmin Bedart-Pani on the right side. Speaking of someone who was recently playing in Turkey, she was signed on March 26th by San Diego. Jones is roofed, and Pittman has been impenetrable in the first set.
Pittman does a really good job right here, throwing those arms, diving those arms into the angle. She read that cross-body swing and then pressed into the angle at the right time.
That is her 3rd different stuff block of the set. Almost 4, only White was able to cover it. And Pittman with the connection offensively. Hentz got a piece of it. Edmond dug it. And Atlanta was in the net.
Reagan Pittman got a block, got off the net in transition quickly, ran the gap set, got set. She's doing so much work in the middle, having to move around so fast after getting those block touches. Really impressive by her, and I think it's the block that is setting the San Diego Mojo apart in this first set.
I got to tell you, Pittman is one of the most underrated, exciting players to watch in the league. When she is on her game, there is an explosive element to what she does. Speaking of middles, though, let's take a look at some of your top candidates for middle blocker of the year with the regular season winding down.
I could probably send like 12 middle blockers for this list. It was really difficult to narrow down, but of course, Corey Lewis, 179 kills. She gets set a lot, and she is the most efficient attacker in this league. Caitlin Horde leading the #1 right now, Omaha Supernovas, with 67 blocks. Talk about a player that can just shut the ball down defensively. Kaz Brown was last year's middle of the year. She's got 51 blocks, 2.8 points per set, a 284 hitting efficiency. You can run her behind and in front. True leader for that Orlando Valkyries team. And then Veronica Stone, you cannot leave her off of this list. 360 hitting efficiency, 44 blocks, and 2.7 points per set. She's very active offensively and defensively. I got to add Lydia Martin as my 5th contender there. Really efficient for the Indy Ignite.
It's been a great year for middles. I would argue that right now might be, I'm thinking about it as I'm saying it, the strongest position in the league. Maybe libero would have a pretty good case as well, with players like Hentz and Scott and Venegas, Camila Gomez. Sorry for whoever I left out, but middle blocker, a lot of teams have 2 really good starting middle blockers in the league right now.
Absolutely, they can run in front and behind. It's just so much fun because the middle blocker brings so much dominance to the position. If you can have 2 that are that elite.
Sponsel sets Bedart-Pani and go right back to Bedart-Pani. And Pittman is dug by her counterpart, Vicini. Then back row left right now as the server, Dalkey, evades the block.
If that doesn't show how versatile Kendra Dalkey is, I don't know what will. She can score at such a high level on the outside, and then when she's in the position to score on the right side, she can take care of the ball so efficiently. The set's inside, but she gets her feet there, gets her feet to the ball, and then still contacts it at a really high point because she's so quick to the ball.
Now we're going to get to see Yasmin Bedart-Pani out there playing right side as Dalkey goes back to serve. Yasmin had a couple of left side swings on that rally, but that serve is into the net for Dalkey, who does lead San Diego with 9 total aces on the season. Double substitute coming in for Atlanta. Anna Dixon and Nia Tuaninga have good chemistry together, a pair of rookies out of University of Florida and University of Southern California, respectively. Dixon out of Florida, played at a few different schools, but still does get to celebrate the Gators National Championship from last night, which I believe you called, Madison,
I did.
one of these broadcasts.
Sadly, because I'm a Florida State Seminole, so that is our rivals, but I could tell early on that they were going to be dominant. That was a fun game.
I'll forgive you. We're calling a match right now. Faster tempo, Tuaninga to Edmond. Tuaninga had a great career at USC and gets a chance to play here pretty close to USC with this match taking place in San Diego. We were watching Bedart Mani this morning, and this is our first time we got to see her in person. So impressed with what she brings to the table for San Diego.
Absolutely. Coach Neith Park saw something special in her, understandably. She said she's a big block, she's got a big topspin that we're about to see, and she hits high with power.
She checked in briefly against Atlanta on March 28th as Lewis gets vertical there.
That's nasty. That swing was so sharp. She gets up so quickly, gets on top of the ball, and then that's about, I would say, the 7-foot line, if there was one. That is about as straight down as they come.
Tabron looking for contact. Doesn't matter, it went in. From Maya Tabron there to finish the thought on Bedart Mani. She kind of tweaked something, I think, when she got in the match against Atlanta. So dealing with a nagging injury, and that's why we haven't seen a ton of her yet. But it's set point here for San Diego in the first. Tuaninga to White, and Atlanta staves off a set point. Now, keep in mind, in the red zone, these teams traded some massive runs against each other in their most recent meeting on March 28th. So anything is possible, even on a set point or several set points in a row in this matchup. We've seen both teams get each other stuck in rotations. They unwind the double sub. And Ronica Stowe says, I'll just end the set now. 25-21, San Diego.
It was a nice little tempo slide. So Vicini was late to close, and Ronica Stone with that fast arm swing got the set.
And that'll do it for the first set. San Diego, the home underdog. They've shown some signs of life in recent matches. They're coming off a victory. They're looking to end Atlanta's long winning streak. Off to a good start. First set in the books. Both teams coming in super fresh. It's their first match for each of these squads since March 30th, 9 days ago. And defense winning out in that first set. 6 stuff blocks for San Diego. Reagan Pittman had 3 of them.
Reagan Pittman had 3 of those. She was all over it, moving so quick side to side, holding the Vibe to a 108 hitting efficiency when the Vibe is as balanced as they are is really difficult. Atlanta passed really well. They passed 52% positive, which they were outpassing San Diego in that matchup, but San Diego just out-edged them with the service aces and the blocking.
Yeah, typically, when a team is passing well, that is one of the best indicators that they're playing well, that they're going to have success. So it's always a little bit staggering when you see a team post a good in-system passing percentage and not win. Because when you're in system, you can set the middle. McKenna Vicini, she led the entire match. Both teams in kills against Columbus in their sweep victory on March 30th, their last match. Very rare for a middle to lead the match in kills.
10 kills, hit 600, really efficient performance from her.
10-15, 1 error as Reagan Pittman sneaks that inside the block and down. Pittman continues her strong performance for the Mojo. She starred collegiately, was a 2-time All-American at Minnesota, 3-time All-Big Ten first team. Serve causing trouble. Free chance, San Diego. Tabron gets it done, going hard cross-court angle.
Tabron is crafty. That block was up and set, but she's got a nice wrist-away swing to that 4-4 shot. She contacts a little bit underneath it, so she's able to grab the fingertips and then just get the point.
4 years at Colorado, then finished out her career with 1 at SMU. The angles continue to be impressive for Lewis, even though it clipped the net there. Still an impressive looking swing for Corey Lewis, the rookie all-star out of Florida State. Now Aiko Jones, a rookie from Louisville with the serve, but Art Hani down the line, over the block. What a swing for Yasmin Bedart Hani.
That was a beautifully executed swing, rising up into the air, dropping that thumb, and it painted just perfectly in that back line, that 5 positions wide open.
She had some shots that are just purely unstoppable. And San Diego with the ace, Pittman.
Reagan Pittman is in the zone. That was a beautiful deep float serve. Right again, within that last foot of the line, you got to really follow it to the line, track it all the way.
Behind the setter, Lewis. 4-4, Tabron, dug by Edmond. Blasted out of the back row, Micaiah White, too hot to handle.
And Micaiah White was going right at Reagan Pittman, the middle that was playing left back. So good change of direction on that ball. Watch her nice long approach from the back row, rising up, and then hitting over Maya Tabron right to Pittman.
Vegas using her hands with that set. Veronica Stone sends it away.
That was a tough set to attack because the block was there, set, ready. Pretty much a wall, just a little quick set, almost like a trap set, but Micaiah White gets her feet there. Veronica Stone's all over it, though, with those hands pressed over the net, back to 6.
Bedart Hani came over this season after finishing up in Turkey, also played 3 years in South Korea. Recently comes up with another big serve for San Diego.
The reason that jump topspin is so difficult to pass, because it's coming so quickly and it's diving at the last second. If your first move isn't super quick to the ball, it's going to catch you high or low and you're going to get aced.
She is an intimidating presence to go up against. Went off the shoulder there, or the arm of Monserrat for the cover play, and White capitalizes. Atlanta back within 3 early in the second.
The out-of-system set from Morgan Hens was absolutely beautiful right there. She has such a clean touch on that second contact, and was almost like she made her team in system with that set.
Hens is going to take a play off here because Lewis, the middle blocker, is serving. D-ball Jones. Dalkey has to adjust. Lewis slides underneath there. Positive block touch. Little out of rhythm there for Stone. Monserrat with options. Back sets. Jones was leading and missed it.
That was a little bit of a break for the Mojo, who had a couple misconnections, setter-hitter misconnections, one on the back row, one on the right side, but a break, and now they're up by 4 with the missed swing.
Hey, which one of these teams has won 8 straight matches? San Diego looking really good early. You look at Atlanta lately, everything going right. They've won 2 of their last 3 matches in sweeps, including last time against Columbus, which is something they really hadn't been doing earlier in the season. Their only sweep win before this stretch was on January 12th against Vegas, so they're becoming more dominant. They've won 2 straight on the road. And of course, if they would win tonight, that would tie the all-time Pro Volleyball Federation record. Atlanta has won 8 straight, looking for 9. San Diego has just 7 wins on the season. You kind of take a closer look, Madison, and there are some players for San Diego, a lot of them, who are playing well right now.
Exactly. I don't think that record is indicative of the talent on this roster in the least bit. They're pushing teams all the way, and they have a lot of depth. They've played with a lot of players out there on the court. They're primed for a win. They want the upset.
Merritt Beeson, the #1 overall pick, who has been displaced in the starting lineup recently by Aiko Jones, checks in for Jones. Swatted over by Stone nicely. Out of system set, Edmond to White for the conversion.
That was a beautiful swing. Micaiah White cut that off at the perfect time. Nice out of system set by Aaliyah Edmond. She had to keep her body behind that to push it all the way to the pin, and she did it perfectly.
Stone so good on the slide. Atlanta was ready for the tip. Sponsel races to get there. Micaiah White loads up and ends up leaving that ball pretty high on Dahlke and surprising her for the kill. A good show of sportsmanship after the point from White.
Beautiful wrist away swing by White, who really brings the power. Had to be patient on her approach, but waited and then attacked it. Veronica Stone maybe a little early and fading away on that block.
3 straight points, won by Atlanta. And Stone can dodge out of the way of that. She could. It's a point for San Diego.
San Diego is happy to cut that run off there. Volleyball is a game of momentum and a game of runs. Atlanta Vi was surging ahead after that timeout. So good response by San Diego to cut that off before they got it tied.
Yeah, exactly what Taiba was saying to us before the match, that Atlanta is such an impressive team. They come up with these momentum plays, but if we can take that momentum play and just sort of stop it there, you know what, they're going to score 3 points in a row, but let's not make it 6.
Exactly, and the key to that, she said, is discipline. On those momentum shifting points, let them adjust, but then yourself go back to what you know, adjust yourself, and then don't let them go on those runs. So that's a perfect example of how they're executing the game plan.
I think it's one of those things where what she means by that is just don't let it get in your head so much. Just stay within yourself. Don't try and do anything more than you can do. Can I add any more cliches in?
You got them all.
I'll search my internal list. But it is true. Sometimes there's truth to those cliches. Beeson with a swing. Dahlke with the score.
Beautiful up by Venegas, the libero for San Diego. She is so quick defensively. She gets underneath that ball, puts her team in system, allows them to get a chance to score, and she's hitting the ground after she gets the dig. She wants the offense.
Bedard Hani. Tough angle feeding Vicini. Big boom, Leah Edmond.
Beautiful set by Marley Monserrat. It was a bump set. It was in the perfect location for Leah Edmond to come in and punish that ball. Earlier this season, Coach Kayla Banworth told me that Leah Edmond is wired differently. She wants to win more than anyone else out there on the court, and you can tell in the power that she swings.
Service sub roll here for Pia Timmer. Waiting for the call, bolt 6, the automated in-out calls. And Bedard Hani apparently missed, but San Diego is going to ring the buzzer and ask for a challenge.
Coach Aneve Park turned to look at her assistant coach and said, might as well. Might as well challenge it. It was close, and if anything, it can also serve as a timeout. Take a beat, take a second, because Atlanta is surging back. So it's almost like a break in the momentum for Atlanta. You get a chance to talk to your team, and with it being that close, you get 2%. You might as well challenge it.
See, that's exactly what Taiba Hanif Park is doing right now. She's meeting with her team just like it's a timeout. And I do not believe that they're going to find a block touch here. They don't. So it's an unsuccessful challenge. You get 2 challenges per set. If you win a challenge, you keep it. So there's no shortage of challenge opportunities throughout the course of the night. But because of this bolt 6 technology, most challenges get sorted in about 20 seconds. Triple block against Tabron. And the Atlanta run continues, bouncing their way back into this set. Atlanta was down early.
We see the triple block mostly on the back row attack, moving Maya Tabron a little bit to the right, but it's Leah Edmond all over that. With 6 hands in your face, it's really difficult to find a gap.
Oh, Dahlke winds up catching the ball unintentionally, and Atlanta's won 4 points in a row. Pia Timmer coming in, didn't get the starting nod tonight, but as a service sub has been effective, taking those last 3 points. Got a really nasty float serve. Bedard Hani. You gotta look out for those fingers when Bedard Hani's coming at you.
Especially because she's contacting it so high and really hitting it from a high trajectory. It could come down on your fingers and really hurt you. I like that in-system pass by Venegas, who handled that first ball contact and put them in system to get that point.
I think I need a splint just watching that. Lewis into Pittman. Beeson into Tabron, 2 hitter coverage plays, and Pittman says that's enough.
This is a fun rotation for both teams because when you run a 5-1, your setter's in the back row for 3 rotations. Right now, both of the setters are in the back row, so you have 3 attackers in the front row at all times. That's what makes these blocks so impressive. You have to be extra disciplined because of all the options on offense.
In addition to 3 stuff blocks, a couple of kills for Pittman. Faster set to Edmond, and nothing San Diego can do against the 2024 MVP, an outside hitter of the year, Leah Edmond.
And that's why that tempo set, that faster set, is so successful because you're beating the block. You're putting a ton of pressure on Reagan Pittman to get there and close.
Making her case to try and go back-to-back in the MVP award honor. We'll talk about that later as Merritt Beeson comes up with an ace for Atlanta.
The overall #1 draft pick, going back, getting an ace, and giving Atlanta the lead.
Standout star at Nebraska, taking #1 overall. Atlanta trading up to take her #1 overall. Tabron sides out for San Diego.
Sarah Sponsel got the setting start position 2 matches in a row. Now it's the 3rd. She is so impressive, you guys, because she's an Olympian in the beach. Then last year she was a libero, and now she's a setter. I mean, just the versatility and the athleticism from Sponsel's insane.
Corey Lewis is just so impressive to watch, and it's, of course, hard to stop.
And Coach Kayla Vanworth said one of the things they're working on with Lewis is getting up and attacking that ball quickly. She did that perfectly. Didn't let the ball drop at all and hit it at its peak.
I'd like to see Corey Lewis and Lydia Martin just do like a standing vertical jump competition, see who can touch the highest. It might vary depending on what day it is. They just are able to hit at an angle that you don't normally see.
They do jump tests too. We're gonna have to get with the coaches and get back to you guys on how high they touch.
That missed serve in this close second set takes this set to a timeout at 16 points. Atlanta leading San Diego by a point, but the Mojo up by a set. Discussing things in the huddle right now with Kayla Vanworth, their first-year head coach and Nebraska alum, leading the way. San Diego, strong first set, also got off to a strong start in the second set. Atlanta has worked its way back in front within this set. The first media timeout, it was 8-4 San Diego. Now 16-15 Atlanta, make it 17. Merritt Beeson going down the line.
It's good pressure from the service line by Corey Lewis. That's one of the things that they're working on, having pressure behind the service line and then eliminating a part of the San Diego Mojo's offense.
Credit Beeson, she has not played a lot lately before coming into this match. Gets a set there, and Beeson connecting again. She's only played 1 set in the team's last 3 matches, but that was against San Diego on March 28th. Came in the final set, and she scored on match point. And so that's a player stand right there.
Talk about clutch. She has experience. She's played in the highest pressure situations in college, so she knows how to come in, make an impact. She's unbothered, and she's really good on that D-ball. She's such a threat from the back row as well.
See the Bolt 6 replay. That shot dotted the back line. That is down on the San Diego side. So Micaiah White terminates. Atlanta is up by 3. They have controlled the second part of this second set. Gone in front. Venegas with a dig. Edmond pulls the string a little bit. The contact wasn't completely solid, and San Diego wound up getting fooled. Edmond came up a little bit lame, I think. She's wincing a little bit after that swing, but nonetheless converts for Atlanta and sends San Diego into a timeout.
Yeah, I think she jumped a little early on that attack, came down wrong. Grimacing a little bit, but she looks okay. And sometimes when you hit the ball, you don't even know where it's going. So the opposing defense, it's almost impossible to read.
She's normally gonna be a flamethrower out of the back row, so a situation like that, San Diego was surprised. We mentioned MVP candidates this year. We're taking a little reset on this April 8th with less than a month to go in the regular season, thinking about who might win some of these end-of-season awards. Certainly Edmond is a candidate to go back-to-back MVPs.
Without a doubt, she's leading the league in points. At times, she's almost unstoppable. With her up there, Brittany Abercrombie, 4.2 kills per set. 268 hitting efficiency is extremely efficient from that right side. Ajani Taylor has popped off this season. Talk about unstoppable at times. 4.3 points per set for her. And then Brooke Nunneveller, the 6th rotation outside, leading the Omaha Supernovas right now. Sydney Hilly, can't leave her out. She's an incredible setter, leading the PVF in assists. And then Champu Goodpard, just as elite as well, really good defensively, and is leading this Orlando Valkyries team with a whole lot of experience.
And I think the argument that Edmond, who is back out there after coming off in a little bit of pain during that timeout, the argument that would be made for Edmond to win MVP again, number one, she's on a really good team. That always helps. Number two, I think she kind of combines the all-around game of somebody like a Nunneveller, because Edmond is top 10 in the league in total blocks and in total digs, and top 2 in aces, in addition to what she does offensively. But also her offensive scoring is just about as good as anybody in the league as well. So Edmond, I think there's certainly a good chance she wins MVP again.
Absolutely. The top 5 in digs in a league like this, when the liberos are so elite, is so impressive. Her read on the ball, her adjustment defensively, it's just incredible.
She's been crushing it, in particular against San Diego. 2 different matches with 20 plus. This has been a point of jousts until White says that'll do it, extending the lead for Atlanta to 5.
Micaiah White has been a star in this set. That was her 6th kill. No errors, hitting well above 300. Really impressive by her in this set.
Atlanta has scored 8 of the last 11 points in extended run. Make it 9 of 12. Trying to slam the door on this second set, and Taylor Head coming in as a serving sub with the ace. Final timeout of the set for San Diego.
That just shows the depth of Atlanta. Taylor Head, 6th rotation standout at Arkansas, led them to an Elite 8, and then went to Florida State. Played Beach, was a 6th rotation outside for them as well. She's a true leader out there on the court, even though she's just a rookie. And what makes her special is she's kind of a role player. You can plug her in where you need her, and she's so athletic, she'll make an impact.
Yeah, she had some appearances earlier in the season when Timmer was on injured reserve. Micaiah White not on the roster yet. And Head started 3 matches in place of Timmer, who was hurt at the time. Timmer has been the starter recently, replaced tonight by Micaiah White, who is signed out of Turkey, originally from Frisco, Texas, but finished her season in Turkey and getting her first start for the Vibe. She has paired nicely with Leah Edmond.
Talk about taking an opportunity and absolutely running with it. 9 kills were only in the second set. She has ate up some of these sets with all that power. That wrist-away swing is really difficult to dig, and she's causing some trouble defensively for the Mojo.
Her father, Randy, was a star basketball player at La Tech and was drafted 8th overall by the Dallas Mavericks in 1989. Got the athletic genes. Fantastic career several years ago at Texas. Puts this one to Dalkey. And Atlanta is on set point after blocking Dalkey.
When some facets of Atlanta's game start to heat up, it's like the rest of it follows. They got outblocked in that first set, but they have really adjusted and amped up their blocking dominance in this one.
Blocking is 7-5 now in favor of San Diego, but an overpass forced, and Beeson slams it home for the second set. Hard to believe San Diego was up by 4 points early in the second set with that one-set cushion as well. Atlanta completely turning things around, ending the set on an extended 11-3 run, and evening this matchup at 1 set apiece. San Diego taking the first set 25-21. Atlanta in the second set 25-17. Nonetheless, even though the Vibe winning that set, really fun to watch Reagan Pittman work through the first couple of sets. 3 kills, 3 stuff blocks for Reagan Pittman. Let's go to Madison.
All right, Reagan, 3 blocks in that first set. What are you seeing out there defensively to give you those kind of numbers?
Yeah, you know, when my teammates set up great blocks around me, it makes it really easy just to see the hitter, get my hands over, be low and over.
Adjustments for the next set. You won the first, lost the second. What adjustments do you want to see?
I think it's all in serve and pass game.
Thank you. Good luck.
You're welcome. Thank you.
All right, Madison, thank you. So Pittman carrying that first set with the 3 stuff blocks for San Diego. Then Atlanta winning the second set in just as dominant a fashion. So we're all even. This match is going at least 4. Stay tuned here in San Diego. Well, the folks in San Diego have their popcorn ready, and they got to enjoy a blocking masterpiece in the first set from Reagan Pittman, who you just spoke to, Morgan.
She's quick side to side. She's really long, very lengthy, and she can be an X factor for this team offensively and defensively. She is one of the reasons why they got that first set win. Defensively, she was locked in, very disciplined, moved really fast side to side, good press over the net. And she's just almost as elite as they come. And the coolest part about this is Coach Neve Park said she has not even begun to tap into her ceiling to reach her true potential.
Through the first couple of sets, it was all Pittman in the first set. And then Atlanta came back and won the second set 25-17. All tied up at 1. San Diego took the first set by 4. Atlanta doubled up on that and took the second set by 8. This match is all tied. Well, we kind of had a feeling coming into this one that this would be a good one. Had a couple teams that are both playing very well right now. Atlanta in particular, the 8-match winning streak, but San Diego, I'm gonna supplement my point with some statistics here. You got Dalkey coming off a 21-kill game against Vegas. Tabron, monster numbers over the last 5. Veronica Stone, 9+ kills each of her last 5. Pittman blocking like crazy. A lot of players on this San Diego team that are playing well, but Micaiah White was fantastic in the second set, and Atlanta completely turned things around from set 1 to set 2. To start off the third set, Sarah Sponsel pancakes that ball, hence lays out for a ball. Micaiah White just showed you her numbers in the second set. Janasia Moore has checked into the match with a back row attack. Now it's Beeson off the hands and drops down for Merritt Beeson.
Gotta shout out Morgan Hens. First of all, she is so fast and she makes these diving plays. It's not just that she's getting the ball up, she's keeping it in system. And then Merritt Beeson swinging nice and high, tooling the hands. Because she contacted the ball so high, she got the tool.
Morgan Hens last year, all PVF first teamer and libero of the year. Beeson was close there, but just couldn't quite shape the hands properly. And it's 1-1 early in the third.
Beeson was a big X factor in that second set. I love the fact that she's getting the start in this next set because she was so good behind the service line and offensively.
Yeah, Beeson 4 for 8 since checking in for Aiko Jones in the second set.
Hit 429. Atlanta as a whole hit 368 in that second set. Super efficient offense.
It's kept up off the heel of Monterey. And then swatted back in play there by Moore. Edmond over the top of the block. They beat the block out there for the Edmond kill. And as I'm watching this, Madison, looks like Moore is in there for Dalkey. So I'm wondering if everything is all right with Kendra Dalkey. It would be surprising for her just to be taken out on a coach's decision. I see her standing up on the bench right now. Dalkey's been one of the best outsides in the league. This is Moore. Oh, Moore's made some plays since checking in, but Art Hani. And Beeson got a piece of the block.
Sometimes with how long the season is, some of these the stars need a break, so maybe she's just resting her for a little bit, put her back in. But Janasia Moore, she's a next man up kind of mentality player, super explosive. She's good to fill that role.
Played just 2 sets in the team's last 5 matches. Moore, a second-year pro, former draft pick in the 4th round by Columbus. Last year played 20 matches with the Columbus Fury. Atlanta off to a great start in this set with right now Dalkey on the bench for San Diego. Back set, but Art Hani, she just goes over the top of everyone.
And I love that change of direction from Sarah Sponsel, almost pin to pin, back set. And then Bedart Hani contacts that ball so high, beat the block with the fast arm swing. Watch her cut it off at the right time, and that deep corner right in between areas 1 and 6 is wide open.
Cut inside by Corey Lewis impressively.
The angles that Corey Lewis can swing at are incredible. That is so difficult. You have to drop your pinky, get up high enough to contact it and cut it off at the right time. Good execution.
Yasmin Bedart Hani with a miss. This has been all Atlanta since midway in the second. Perfect dig, Leah Edmond allows them to set Lewis in transition. 8-2 start going into the timeout for Atlanta. Gonna hit the break here. A big vibe run to start the third set, just picking up where they left off in the second set. Lewis over the top in transition. Welcome back to San Diego. And an 8-2 start. What are you seeing, Madison, from this impressive start to the set without Dalkey out there?
I see an Atlanta Vibe team that is, I called them this before, unsatisfied, extremely driven. They're going to drop a first set, they're going to adjust, they're going to respond, and they are not satisfied with the loss.
San Diego snapping a 3-0 run there, but Yasmin Bedard-Hani missing the serve.
And what this pressure from the Vibe does to San Diego is it causes them to be a little chaotic with their touch, maybe have a couple more errors than they did in the first set because the Vibe is applying so much pressure.
Off the block, off the antenna, and Janasia Moore scoring for San Diego.
Earlier this season, Coach Anif Park said with Janasia Moore that she's working on shot selection when matching up against those bigger blocks because she is undersized. So tooling the block when you have the seam rip into it, but working on different shots. She did it perfectly right there.
Off the block and out, McKenna Vicini, who had a really impressive offensive effort against Columbus with 10 kills in their most recent match.
That's one of the advantages of the Atlanta Vibe is they run through their middles often. Last match, the middles combined for 15 kills, so they're getting a lot of production across the net.
Blasted off the hands for Yasmin Bedard-Hani.
I like that swing from Bedard-Hani because she's not swinging right in front of her. She's cutting it off, dropping her thumb, swinging through the ball. It's a wrist-away swing, and it allows her to tool the block.
Vicini, now watching her more, it's apparent that she's at her most comfortable on that gap set.
And it's because I think it opens up her vision to see the block, to see the defense. You're getting space from your setter. You're moving the middle blocker around, and that really opens her up offensively.
Of those 10 kills against Columbus, almost all of them were on the gap. That would be too many touches there, so Leah Edmond with another point, number 2 in the league in points scored behind only Brittany Abercrombie.
One of the roles of an outside is to clean up broken plays, whether it's in system, out of system, whether your setter's on the net when she's setting you or off like she was right there. You have to be able to play cleanup and be a problem solver, and Leah Edmond is just that. Hitting
.400 with 9 kills and 10 digs.
It's funny, in situations like that, when there's a joust at the net, you would think that the middle blocker would take that because they're a little longer, maybe more physical, but 9 times out of 10, it's the setter winning those jousts.
Edmond had to work really hard to get to that ball. She's thinking there was a block touch there on that unconventional third touch. And Atlanta's going to listen to their MVP and challenge it.
Atlanta is challenging a block touch.
I wonder how many kills in Leah Edmond's lifetime, if she does get this and if it is a kill, I wonder how many she's gotten from a punch like that. Not many.
4.
Good confident response.
Just throwing out a number. For now. And the verdict coming in quickly that was indeed a knockout punch on that point.
Make it 5.
Yeah. Yeah, that is not something you see very often. Another double-double for Edmond against San Diego. She continues play well against. She plays well against pretty much everyone, but in particular against the Mojo. Every team in the PVF plays each other 4 times in this 28-match schedule. 8 teams in the league in year 2. Edmond out of system. Sponsel to Bedard Hani hitting left side. See you later.
Beautiful block, straight down. I think that set might have been a little too low for Bedard Hani. Hani had to really speed up and get there. Wasn't able to get on top of it. And I think that contributed to the block.
Eric Beeson continues to show up since checking in for Atlanta. Now Timmer was in there to serve once again for Bacchini. Now Maya Tabron will serve. Taylor Head makes the pass. Coming in off the bench for Atlanta. Bashed off the top of the block by Reagan.
Beautiful execution of the gap set from Sponsel to Pittman, who contacts that ball really high, is able to grab the top fingertips of Corey Lewis and swing over her, which is not an easy thing to do because Corey Lewis is 6'3".
Remember the last time these teams met in Georgia, March 28th, another big-time blast from Beeson. In the 4th set, Atlanta led 24-17 on match point. San Diego won 7 points in a row against match point. Wound up losing 26-24, but there have been some big comebacks not that long ago in this series. San Diego down big right now in the 3rd set. But Bedard Hani trying to help San Diego climb back in it.
I mentioned 6'3" Corey Lewis. Bedard Hani is 6'4". She doesn't let the ball drop too. She contacts it really high, and that has a lot of range. She's got a lot of manipulation over where she's attacking that ball and where she's attacking it too.
Hitting .235 with 7 kills. Big answer from Taylor Head against Bedard Hani. Lewis using every single inch of that reach. Now it's Edmond cross court.
You see, Corey Lewis in the middle was out of that play. She got the block, but then she wasn't in, and it was Leah Edmond who took care of it with the block up and set. Leah Edmond is unstoppable.
Another Leah Edmond double-double. It's her 15th of the season. Timeout on the floor. And once again, Atlanta has changed the complexion of this match. I go back to going into the first media timeout of the 2nd set. San Diego was up a set, up 8-4. You look at Atlanta's numbers in set 2 and set 3. Since about that point, it has been good vibes for Atlanta.
It has been good vibes. They have been running with it offensively right now in this 3rd set, hitting .476. See it right there on your screen. They've been trending upward with the efficiency in transition. It's been really impressive.
Again, a win tonight for Atlanta would match the league's longest win streak as Moore gets hit high, and immediately that freezes everything. You know, first and foremost, just hoping that Janasia Moore is all right. She gets up. Probably going to want to take a look at her. She says she wants to stay in. Well, she's going to stay in there.
That serve is coming so fast, and it's floating. So that means it's rising, or it's dipping, or it's coming low to high. So it's moving a lot, and it's difficult to track.
We've been over this before. Like, if you play this sport, that's part of it. It's going to happen every once in a while. There's no shame.
Multiple times in a career, yes.
Morgan Hens, the layout. All the way across and lands out of play. So Micaiah White getting her first start for Atlanta. She's up to double-figure kills now, hitting over 250 as well.
Morgan Hens, I thought that ball was down, but no, she comes out of nowhere. This libero set a PVF record for most digs in a single season this season, and she has 9 matches with over 20 digs. She is the best of the best in that libero position. Including 3 of the last 6 matches, Morgan Hens has gone over 20. She's working on an 11 dig night so far, and we are still middle of the third. That's a little tight on that pass. I guess she's right there. Hens with the first touch, and that's just brought down, just escorted to the floor by Lewis. That's a slam dunk. If you're a basketball fan, that is up. She is throwing that thing down. It's not illegal because she's not holding it for a really long time. She's not carrying it, but that is so impressive and fun to watch. How do you defend that? When there's a gap in the block, she can take care of it so quickly, take advantage of that open seam, and defensively, if you're not diving in there quickly, you're not going to dig it up. You mentioned she recently, Morgan Hens, passed the threshold of the mark Georgia Murphy set last year for Orlando. You know, wishing the best to Georgia Murphy, who recently injured her knee. But currently, Morgan Hens, I'm going to do some quick math. I believe it would be 408 digs now if you add the 11 that she has today, and that is an all-time PVF record, also very much in first place in the digs per set category this year. She's incredible. She's got that left back position on lock, and you better not serve to her because her first ball contact and serve receive is just as elite as her defense. She's a Team USA member. She's a 3-time national champion at Stanford, 3-time Pac-12 Libero of the Year. When Stanford was in the Pac-12, I mean, her resume is just as incredible as they come, and she shows up every single day on the court for her team. On the other side, Shara Venegas out of Puerto Rico. She was 4th last year in digs, and this year is 3rd at 3.92. And we were talking with Taiba this morning about the passion. That's the word that she came back to over and over again, that Shara Venegas brings a sense of passion to the team, and that when she gets a big dig, you might see her slapping the floor or something, and she's almost imploring her front row teammates, all right, now I've done my part, you better not have this effort go to waste. And we've seen that a couple plays here tonight. She's slapping the floor. She's definitely the emotional spark plug for this team. She has all of the intangibles that you would want out of a libero. Extremely passionate and energetic. I imagine she is so much fun to play with. She plays with a flair. She almost follows through with her arms a lot of the time on that touch. And it's fun to watch on the other side as well. We are waiting for something, I think, administrative. So before this San Diego substitution gets processed, they were double checking something on the stats monitor to make sure everything is being played by the rules. I think in terms of rotations and substitutions. Now that sub goes through. It's a double sub. Elise McGee is in as an opposite. Celia Cullen, the recent addition rookie from SMU. They're just SMU players all over the place in the PVF now. Maya Tabron, teammates with Celia Cullen at SMU, now both rookies for San Diego. Cullen's going to come in here and set. And Cullen also brings energy to San Diego, and head coach Taiba Park talked about the intensity that she immediately injects into the San Diego roster. Serve from Lewis. Reaching up Stone. Atlanta a healthy lead. Good job by Elise McGee just keeping it in, but Monserrat knew that was a fine spot for a dunk. The decision-making from Monserrat was so solid right there. The defense was moving around. They were shifting. They weren't set. She could feel it was her opportunity. You have to have that decision-making, that situational awareness as a 5-1 setter, and she has it. That's a missed serve there coming out of that replay. So a side out on the missed serve. Janasia Moore. He shook off that Edmonds serve earlier.
with the serve. Setter takes the first ball. Venegas goes to the right side. Elise McGee, who's getting some starts earlier this season. That's Hebron. Perfect from Hentz, as you would expect. And that is blocked. Monica Stone, two of the biggest names in the league converging, and Stone wins the duel.
And Atlanta has 5 players on the floor right now that could be offensive weapons. So the discipline from Veronica Stone had to be so locked in right there. Really well executed. Nice angle of her arms on the block.
Beeson, D-ball, cuts it in.
Merritt Beeson is extremely confident, and she should be. She's played at the highest level collegiately. She's able to come in, make an impact, swinging just as confidently on the D-ball as she is on the right side.
Been a good return to the lineup here, coming in middle of the second set. Beeson 7 for 14 since entering. And no attacking errors, so straight up 500 for Beeson. And Micaiah White keeps on patting the lead for Atlanta.
One of the things that's going well for Atlanta right now is their block touches. They're getting a lot of touches. They're slowing down the Mojo attack, and that's allowing them to be effective in transition.
Good serve. We're talking with the Atlanta coaching staff about how effective Monserrat is as a server. So they're very good as a point-scoring team in rotation 1. And you can tack on another one.
And what that experience brings out in Merritt Beeson is she has a lot of tools, a lot of range, and she's got good situational awareness. So she can see that little campfire, that hole in the defense, and she opens with power, and then she brings out the tip, and the defense is on their heels.
I think that was White who got the touch on that stuff block, and Atlanta has doubled up San Diego in the third.
Watch White track the ball, get there, nice setup. That set a little inside, so they set up their block in the angle and shut off the line.
A jumping dig from Moore. Hentz takes control on the second ball, and Beeson is rejected. That looked like Tabron who got the decisive touch from the pin.
One of the things the Mojo can do is to keep chipping away at this lead, try to tack on a couple points here at the end of this set, build some momentum for the next one.
Float serve, Stone. McKenna Vicini kill. Atlanta nearly doubling up San Diego in total in the third set, 25-13.
And hitting over 400 at that. Really balanced and dominant offense from Atlanta.
San Diego won the first set, but that feels like a while ago at this point. 2-1, 5 in front. Over the last 2 sets, Atlanta has outscored San Diego by a combined 20 points. And Micaiah White has been coming on strong. Her first ever start as a member of the Vibe.
Coach Caleb Banworth told us Micaiah White brings 3 things to this position: poise, experience, and point scoring. And if she hasn't been doing that in this matchup, I don't know what she's been doing. She's had 11 kills, hit 281, no errors, and 9 digs. So she is cruising to a cool double-double. She has been a big X factor here for the Vibe.
And some good numbers from Pittman and Sponsel on the San Diego side, but some high efficiency days being put together for Atlanta. White hitting 281, 11 kills. Merritt Beeson, 8 kills, 412. Leah Edmond, 11 kills, 360. Corey Lewis, 7 for 14, no errors. Some big offensive days right now, and efficient ones on the Atlanta side. That crawls over the top of the net to kick off the fourth set. We'll see if San Diego brings some type of renewed energy here. Some good signs of life on this point. But Beeson has just been too much. So encouraging for Beeson to come in after Now, granted, Aiko Jones has been great coming in at right side, but Beeson was taken #1 overall for a reason, and she's been great tonight.
She absolutely has, and credit to her for coming and getting the numbers, but then also being really efficient at that, hitting over 400.
Now, something to think about here, Madison, is, look, Atlanta has dominated the second and third set. They've had all the momentum in this match for a long time now, but San Diego ultimately, they win this set. All of a sudden, we're in the fifth. It's been kind of a weird flow tonight with these huge shifts in control, but it's still just 2-1 right now. I think San Diego trying to remind themselves that a different type of spark, a pep in their step, but Atlanta is just fierce offensively, and Edmond hits that one down to the court.
Leah Edmond is so difficult to play defense against because she has so much range. She can attack every area of the court, right there going for that deep one zone.
Pacini on the serve. Good pass, Venegas. Reagan Pittman, block was there, good coverage. Offensive chance, Atlanta. Corey Lewis, block touch against her. Sarah Sponsel, and Bedart Hani, a left side kill.
Beautiful in transition play in general by the Mojo. Janasia Moore kept them in system. Good pass, pushed all the way up to Sarah Sponsel, who fed Bedart Hani, who's extremely athletic, contacting that ball so high and still getting the snap.
Yeah, San Diego very early in the fourth, but looking a little bit better right now. Maya Tabron, the ace. By the way, Bedart Hani has tied Kendra Dahlke for the team high in kills. Dahlke sat, I think, the entire third set it was. Got taken out, I believe, after the second set. Yep, that's right, confirming that. And replaced by Janasia Moore. Not sure if there was any reason it was performance-based or if anything's up with Dahlke. It's just so rare that Dahlke would be taken out just purely for performance. She's their leader in scoring. Dahlke super crucial as we get a challenge on the court.
Atlanta is challenging a net touch.
Yeah, I'm not sure why Dahlke got taken out, but what I do know is Taiba Hanif Park, head coach for the Mojo, is esteemed in the sport of volleyball. She knows exactly what she is doing, and there is definitely an extremely valid reason behind it. What I like from this set from the Mojo is how they've responded, and it starts with the pressure from the service line. That is one area of their game that they need to amp up if they're going to get Atlanta into some trouble, and they've done so really well in this set.
It's been an amazing run for Taiba Hanif Park. Over the last couple of months, she was announced as a USA Volleyball Hall of Fame inductee on March 11th. About a month earlier, February 5th, she was hired by new head coach Eric Sullivan to be one of the top assistants for the U.S. women's national team. Really exciting time for Hanif Park and just for the PVF. This is kind of like a victory for the league to see the success that Hanif Park is having, and especially, you know, the role that she's going to play with Team USA. I think it's going to be crucial for the PVF.
Absolutely, she's so revered and respected in the volleyball community. And a little fun fact about Taiba Hanif Park, she competed at the 2000 U.S. Olympic track and field trials for track and field, for the high jump. I mean, she can really just do it all, and now she's an incredible coach. But I just had to get that out because to be that versatile is insane.
So no net touch, unsuccessful Atlanta challenge. Another vicious cross court from Leah Edmond, and Atlanta scores and sends Beeson back to serve.
There's the range from Leah Edmond again. With the one, we saw that one zone deep down the line, and then she's able to cut it off, drop that thumb, wrist away swing beautifully to the open court.
Edmond, 13 kills, 13 digs, and just 2 hitting errors, so she's hitting 379 on 29 attempts.
Wow.
But for an outside, that's, you know, anything up over 300 is extremely good for an outside hitter. You'd even be fine with something in the 2s a lot of the time. Janasia Moore on the outside with the kill. Moore out of the University of Tennessee, also played collegiately at Ohio State.
Janasia Moore is undersized, so when you're undersized, you have to use your strengths to your advantage. Her strengths are at her athleticism, her range, her craftiness, and then she's got massive jumps.
Hitting serve, she just steps back there way beyond the service line and throws a grenade down on the other side. Sponsor back set, but Arthani. Hence is everywhere. Big piece of the net, but White's shot powers through. Roll shot and the touch from Moore. So good scramble from both sides, keeping this ball up. Lewis, the latest touch. Edmond! Too much. No one's getting that up.
I think my jaw hit the floor twice with those digs from Morgan Hens. I mean, incredible. She is so quick defensively. She's putting herself in the right position to make these digs, but then she's also got those quick twitch movements to where she can pop up, get something, keep her team up. Incredible. And there she goes again.
13 digs, 4 assists for Hens. Not going to get there as Janasia Moore goes 4-4.
Moore punished that ball. The 4-4 swing is so difficult to dig. It's that area of the court, that left front position. She really dropped her thumb there, and with that fast arm swing, it's really difficult to dig.
Arthani taking something off that serve, but still with an effective serve. Tabor on the bit. Beeson the dig. Beeson another dig. Edmond to the donut. Sponsor reads it. Venegas to Bedart Hani out of the back row, all the way across and in. A net touch, I think, also called. Might have been the reason why that was a point for San Diego. Didn't have a great view on the ball from our vantage point. Probably have a better one watching on television. But nonetheless, it's a San Diego point and a 7-4 lead. And a block and an 8-4 lead. And all of a sudden, there's game pressure on Atlanta. If San Diego wins this set, we are going to the 5th. An identical lead to the one they held in the second set before Atlanta turned everything around. It's the first technical timeout of the set, and it's 8-4 San Diego. No, San Diego did kind of flip a switch. We were thinking they would try to, going into the fourth set, just have a mental reset here. Hey, it's only 2-1. We have a chance to send it to the 5th. It's not as bad as it seems. Atlanta was just so utterly dominant, especially in that third set. But hey, this is a sport where you just take that mental reset during the set break. Here you go, 8-4.
And it's a game of momentum, and the Mojo has been really aggressive behind the service line. I like the pressure that they're putting on Atlanta.
Kaboom right there. Yasmin Bedard-Hani with the ace.
That serve is coming at you so quickly. It's a top spin, so it's dying at the last second. If your first move isn't so quick, or if you think it's going to be out and it can drop in, so difficult to get your platform underneath.
Each team now with 5 aces. Actually, that's the 6th now for San Diego. It's a 4-0 San Diego run. The Venegas dig. And a hitting error for Moore. That scraps the run. And Corey Lewis, who had no experience in college for Florida State, as good as she was, back row, serving, anything like that. So you see some missed serves like that this season from Lewis because she's just learning the technique in the back row.
Exactly. She didn't train serving or defense, so that's a fun new area of her game that the Vibe are really working on with her.
Probably has some upside there once she gets accustomed to what she's doing. Still in a learning process. White goes high. Does not make any type of contact, so San Diego wins the point.
I heard Coach Hanif Park say, yes, let's go. Any kind of lead that you can get, if you can get that point disparity to be 6 points over Atlanta, and you just got to focus on point after point and finishing.
Beeson stayed up there. A roundhouse punch on that D ball from Beeson.
Beeson can really light it up from the back row, and you need that kind of pressure from that right side of the court, whether it's the slide or a front row right side attacker or the D ball. You need some kind of presence offensively on the right side. She brings it on the D ball.
And she scores again, Beeson.
It's the follow through from Beeson that makes her so good, because the block is up and it's set there in her angle, but she's following through all the way on the ball, snapping and swinging through her body to get the tool.
Okay, Atlanta inching a little bit closer here. And Monserrat's serve certainly capable of putting together a scoring run.
I bet if Atlanta gets the point here, San Diego calls a timeout.
Oh, that ends the run. So for now, keep playing. Veronica Stone has the kill on the slide.
The opposing middle that's blocking Veronica Stone has to respect her both ways. You have to hold. You see Vicini holding in the middle, but you got to respect her both ways, and Veronica Stone beat her on the slide. It was a one-on-one situation. She found the gap in the block and punished the ball.
How do you try and read it then? What is the key to some good eye work against a player like her?
You just have to wait, be patient, wait for the set, and then make the quick move. You got to move as fast as possible, especially when the set to the slide is a little quicker.
That went upstairs on Stone, but she dug Vicini, ultimately popped up by more. The defense, San Diego, but a free ball. Atlanta ahead in the point. Beeson uses the hands, banks it home.
Setting is all about decision making, and Marley Monserrat is an elite decision maker. Going back to Mara Beeson, who's the hot hands right now, is really important. It's good to have balance in your offense, but when you've got a player that's hot and is finding ways to score, it's good to feed them as much as possible until they get slowed down.
Sponsel got there. Pittman with another stop block.
And I love the fire that Pittman brings after she gets the block. She's turning around to her team, she's screaming, she's saying, let's go. It's that energy that gives you so much momentum, and then a stuff block, absolutely beautiful. Pressing those arms over the net. She's really quick to get her hands over the net, and so it's difficult to score around her.
Remember, she had 3 stuffs in the first set. She's now picked up her 4th. Veronica Stone quietly is up to 5 stuffs to lead San Diego. All the way over there, Shara Venegas, the saving play. Edmond into the net, she missed it.
A rare miss by Edmond. She was going down that line. She really wanted to crank it down the line because the block was set up in the angle, so she saw that gap in between the antenna and the block. She wanted to crank it, but just came down on it a little too sharp.
Still hitting .324, leading Atlanta 14 kills. Beeson hitting .400 with 12 kills. And here she is. Not this time, the 5th stop block for Pittman.
You talk about eye work, and it's so important on the block to be tracking that ball. You can't take any seconds off. Tracking, passer ball, setter ball, hitter, and then you got to watch the arm swing, the angle of the attack, all of it. And Pittman has that eye sequence perfect.
#15th kill of the night for Edmond.
You really see in this set and in this match how many balls Leah Edmond gets set. She is getting a ton in system, out of system, no matter what. She's having to clean up a lot of balls. In this set alone, she's had 11.
Never lets that affect the body language. Doesn't look like she's ever wearing down. She's just going right back at it. A heavy arm, Bedard Hani. Gonna go back to her, left side attacking. For the score, Yasmin Bedard Hani, out of LA originally. Former California Gatorade Player of the Year in 2015. Yasmin Bedard Hani, a towering presence, recently signed at 6'4", played most of the season in Turkey. Timeout. San Diego has led by 6 points 3 different times within this set. They peaked their lead once again for Taiba Hanif Park at 16-10. Looking to extend the match, send it to the 4th. Looking to end Atlanta's 8-match winning streak. Edmond, the reigning MVP. San Diego also, by the way, again, you missed it, us talking about it earlier. They're 0-7 all-time against Atlanta. They would love to, in their final match of the season, in the regular season this year against Atlanta, finally get a victory. But 0-4 last year, 0-3 so far this year against the Vibe. Hanif Park says she knows they're close. It's not due to lack of trying, and she feels like they're inching closer every single time as Lewis pummels one. See if Atlanta can put some pressure back on San Diego, knowing that San Diego has to win this set to extend the match.
We see Lewis with a wide variety of swings. She can hit sharp into that seam, but then she can also take something off of it and drive that ball deep to the corners.
Again, I can say Bedard Lonnie is difficult on opposing fingertips.
She really is, and that's her 10th kill. 5 digs. She has such a presence over there on the right side. She's also a big block, very physical on that right pin.
Lewis, by the way, who scored previously, hitting .368 with 6 digs in this one, in addition to 8 kills. High swing, Edmond. No one was home, no contact.
You can see the Mojo really trying to work through their middles, push running through their middles. Veronica Stone right now, 4 kills. They've set her 18 times, hitting .222, but she's had 5 blocks. So even though she's not as big of an offensive threat right now, defensively she is really holding her weight.
Timeout. Atlanta 18-11, San Diego with the lead. Let's look ahead now to the postseason with the semifinals on May 9th and a championship on May 11th. The venue recently announced, Lee's Family Forum, Henderson, Nevada. And you know, there's so much, you look at the Vegas Thrill and the team in its 2nd year playing in that venue. Whenever I go there to do a Thrill match, you see how many club players are always coming in for all those different tournaments. Such a presence for youth volleyball, particularly in the Vegas area. So I think it's a great choice for the 2nd ever Pro Volleyball Federation Championship.
I am so excited. It's a match for $1 million. The whole season, 28 matches each of these teams have played are leading up to that match for $1 million. It's highly anticipated for sure.
Beeson just figuring out different ways to score. 14 kills on 29 swings. I gotta ask you though, has San Diego done anything differently on Edmond? She's still hitting just around 300, but they're cutting into her efficiency a little bit in this set.
They're doing a better job at slowing her down, I think. She's had just a few errors, but when you get as many attempts as she does, it's almost inevitable.
Smash down, Bedard Hani. She continues to pile them up, 11 kills. They're hitting close to 300.
She's got a lot of range too, and she can pinpoint where she wants to go. She sees the court really well on that right side, and she cuts the ball off at the perfect time.
See what's coming up ahead. Got a couple of matches on Roku on Thursday. We'll be in Vegas for the Supernovas at the Thrill. Stone coming up large once again. Veronica Stone up to 7 stuff blocks. She and Pittman have combined for 12 between the two San Diego middles.
And San Diego has 15 total. I mean, the dominance at the net. This aspect of the Mojo's game has the ability to put the rest of their game on their back. They can gain so much momentum with their discipline and dominance on the block, and that's really the difference maker. In this set alone, they've had 4 and a lot of positive block touches.
And the PVF standings right now, Atlanta is 3 back in the loss column, 1 back in the win column. So you add it all up there, you could say 2 games back of Omaha if you're taking into account a half game equals a win or a loss. Indy and Orlando are tied for 3rd. Now the top 4 make the postseason. Right now there's been a clear separation for a while between the top 4 and everyone else. Who do you think of those next 4? I'm putting you on the spot way too much here.
Oh, no.
Who has the best chance to break through the rest of the way between Vegas, San Diego, Grand Rapids, Columbus?
Well, we just had Grand Rapids versus the Thrill, and they were extremely impressive. They took it in a sweep. I think Grand Rapids has a lot of upside. They did good getting some new pieces, and they've been really good as of late. And then their record is the closest to that top 4, so I think they've got the biggest chance.
We were saying it when we had that match. They get to play Indy and Orlando twice each. How about San Diego, though? That was some creativity to win the point.
The scrappiness from the Mojo, the craftiness, the creativity, like you said, sometimes anything goes in volleyball, and those can get the most fun and entertaining points for sure.
And the only thing verging on a close set was the first set, which San Diego won by 4. It really wasn't that close. It felt like the Mojo were in control. It's been one of those matches, Addison, where one team wins a set big than the other team does. And who knows what we'll see in the 5th now. Aiko Jones is going to come in to serve for Atlanta. Assuming we get to the 5th, and still a chance here for the Vibe, but a healthy cushion if San Diego can just trade points or better. Now they are within 3, 22-13.
Yeah, you're right. San Diego has kind of taken control of this set and has not let up. I like the space that Sarah Sponsel is giving Janasia Moore to score. That was a set that was about 5 feet off the net, and being undersized and as athletic as Moore is, she's able to have more space to score.
5 kills, 286 for Moore since checking in for Dalkey. Again, Moore, not a lot of playing time recently. Another good job of staying ready. Tabron taps one on. Double-figure lead for San Diego in the 4th. Tabron efficiency numbers have been lagging behind a little bit, trying to inch her way back toward 100. Set point, San Diego on the verge of a 5th.
San Diego is holding the Atlanta Vibe to an 0.70 hitting efficiency, which is very low compared to the average for the Vibe. San Diego, on the other hand, hitting 242, so a lot more efficient, and they're doing good in transition, getting digs.
Beeson continues to have a wonderful day for Atlanta. Regardless of the result today, the most encouraging thing has been the #1 overall pick coming back into the lineup, middle of the match, early in the match, and showing why she was the #1 overall pick. Another set point. Stone swats it. Monserrat to White. Off blocker defense. Tabron underneath the net. Sponsel. Kayla Banworth is arguing that interpretation. Atlanta wins the point anyway.
Kayla Banworth is not happy about that one. Sarah Sponsel went over there confidently. You don't really see that in indoor that much. You see it in beach. It happens quite a lot, but Sarah Sponsel keeping it in place, so impressive.
Is there anything you saw there that wouldn't have been legal? Doesn't matter now, San Diego closes out the set.
No, it looked good to me. Trust the refs, they know best, and San Diego really took control of that 4th set. And I think it's safe to say with the disparity in the points, it's anybody's game in the 5th.
Double-figure margins going each way the last couple of sets. We are headed to the 5th in San Diego. We have the diverse offense of Atlanta still holding steady at 242 against the block of San Diego. 14 stuffs tonight.
San Diego's block has been locked in. It's really been the difference maker. And to add on a stat to this graphic, in the fourth set, the Mojo sided out at 71%. That is about as efficient of a side-out number as you can get. They also had 4 blocks in that set alone to Atlanta's 0. But this is anybody's game.
Only the 3rd time this entire season that San Diego has played a 5th set. Reagan Pittman puts her team ahead 1-0. Of course, one of those was against Atlanta. This season, Atlanta is 4-2 in 5 setters. They've won each of their last 2, including against San Diego in Georgia on March 28th. They wipe off the court after that opening point. The 5th set is played to 15. And, of course, the winner of this set wins the match, but the stakes just always feel higher because you have that sense of urgency. If one team gets ahead early, there's not enough time a lot of the time for the other team to come back and make up that margin. The set that's only to 15. Beeson came in for Aiko Jones early. Maya Tabron on a heater in the last 5 matches coming in. Leah Edmond, last year's MVP, evens it at 1 in the 5th set to 15.
Beautiful high hands pass from Morgan Hens to keep that ball in system. Nice set by Marley Monserrat, and Leah Edmond swinging high and powerfully high hands to tool the block. Monserrat, the setter, gives Atlanta emotional life. What a leader she is at the setting position. Yasmin Bedard-Bani on both pins so far today. Certainly she is an opposite by trade, but has had some effective left side swings in different rotations. She has really showed her versatility and range in this matchup. She's been quite the difference maker. Now with San Diego serving, Bedard Hani back on the right side, blocking and hitting. Beeson fits it in, and it's tied at 2, back and forth. Maybe we'll get a close set here after there have been some big swings and big disparities in recent sets. We actually have seen that quite a lot this season. There's some disparity in the first 4, and then the 5th one is back and forth. You said it before, but every point is amplified. The importance of the point is amplified in the 5th. White, Doug Moore. Good out of system set. That hit in. A whistle. Hanif Park didn't like the call. Double contact there, I think, on that Pittman touch. Normally, though, on a first contact, right? You don't see that call a lot. No, and my view was kind of blocked. From my view, it looked like it hit her cleanly. I don't know. Have to go back and look at the film on that one. Gap set, Pittman gets a piece of the net, gets all the court. One of the things as a middle that has to happen is you have to be up in transition. You have to be an option in transition, inside out. You have to be up, calling for that ball to really stress the block. So I like how much work Reagan Pittman is putting in transition to be up and an option. Oh, that was about a 50-50 proposition. Nearly crawled over the net. What a service miss for Pittman. Reagan Pittman, 2 aces on the night, no errors. That's one of those that's extremely excusable. She's been really good behind the service line. Oh, the teams trade service errors. Overall, serving has been pretty good from both sides. Both up over 5 aces, which is a large number for an individual match with the quality of the receivers in this league. It'll be Bedard Hani's turn. Oh, okay. We've seen a few misfires in the 5th set. The reason that serve is so high risk, high reward is because there's so many little things that have to go right to get that in. You have to toss it high enough, contact it at its highest point, get on top of it to get that spin. A lot of things have to go right. 3 straight service errors until we're now back in play. Right to the floor, no one home. And Atlanta creates a little separation, 6-4. Watch White's nice long approach. Beautiful up by Merritt Beeson, who's proving her worth time in and time out defensively and offensively. Moore covers her own swing. Behind the setter, Yasmin Bedard Hani.
It's her first extended look. She'd only played in one set before this match, dealing with a nagging injury since being signed, plantar fasciitis. But Bedard Hani has come in tonight off the bench, hit .265 with 13 kills and 6 digs. Nice low serve from Moore against the flow. Monserrat Beeson does it perfectly. Gets a little bit of luck in the process as it hit the top of the net. Of all the kills that Beeson has had, that was the wackiest.
And that's one of those for the Mojo that you just wish so desperately you could have back. Maya Tabron still moving, couldn't get her platform underneath it. If you're Atlanta, you take a sigh of relief that that one went down.
Beeson, who also has a couple of aces, 15 kills, everything she's touching. It has turned into a point. White gaining steam for Atlanta, taking this 5th set into the timeout. The teams change sides, and the Vibe are up 8-5. They're looking to tie the longest win streak in the history of the PVF. Timeout of the 5th set. Well, on the one side, business as usual for Leah Edmond, but noteworthy for an Atlanta team that came in 8 straight victories. Credit Kayla Banworth, not afraid to mix up the lineup even during a winning streak. Micaiah White, recent signing, getting her first extended look, her first ever start for Atlanta. Merritt Beeson, after some time sitting out behind Aiko Jones, comes in as a sub. Super efficient, high-scoring day for Beeson off the bench.
Talk about clutch X-Factor players. That's what these two are. It just speaks to the depth of this Atlanta Vibe team. Micaiah White has been incredibly fun to watch. So powerful. You said it was her first start. She cruised to a cool double-double so confidently with so much power. Leah Edmond, time and time again, she is a true leader. Vocally, with her energy, and then on the court as well, physically.
Must-have side out for San Diego coming out of the timeout. Not gonna happen. Micaiah White tacks one on, 9-5. And you gotta think San Diego with 2 timeouts to burn. They'll be close to using one, even though they just came off the media timeout and the change of sides. If this gets any further away, Monserrat once again to serve. She's been a point scorer tonight, as usual for Atlanta. Was there contact? No. They could decide to challenge. I think they're going to challenge this, basically use it as a timeout, even if the challenge is
San Diego
unsuccessful.
is challenging a block touch.
Now, the one thing the Mojo have the opportunity to do is really slow this match down the rest of the way, because they still now have 2 timeouts plus a challenge, at least, remaining after this one, even if they don't get the challenge right.
Exactly, and we talk about how much volleyball is a game of momentum. With 2 timeouts on your side, it was a quick challenge. It's already back. It's Atlanta's point. But with volleyball being such a game of momentum, Coach Hanif Park can really play with it here and try to get a break in the momentum, maybe get back some rhythm, some chemistry on the Mojo side. They just had about a couple setter, hit or miss connections there. And it's really been Atlanta who's come on strong, taking control of the game.
4 straight points for the Vibe. Tabron off the top, Hence doing Hence things. Second ball for Morgan Hence. Beeson. Venegas hit the deck. Out of system. Oh, a rare touch for Hence that doesn't go well, and Tabron earns the kill.
Venegas was so good in that play with the diving dig, the Superman kind of layout to get that save, and then out of system with the in-transition set to Tabron, beautifully placed. San Diego Mojo is happy to have that point. Now you got to chip away at this lead, and it starts with the pressure behind the service line. This is when the Mojo has had the most success, when they're applying pressure and they're being aggressive from the serve.
Some ball control number updates. Marley Monserrat, 49 assists, 12 digs. Sarah Sponsel, 40 assists, 16 digs. 13 digs for Venegas, 21 digs for Hentz. Her 10th match of the year with 20-plus digs, including 4 out of the last 7. Beeson sends it hard down the line at the opposing middle. That's usually a good place to put it, and Atlanta is putting its mark on this 5th set so far.
Beeson combines precision, power, and range so well. See the block, Tabron maybe up a little too early. She was on her way down when Beeson was contacting that ball, and it allowed her to swing over and to the line.
San Diego, keep in mind, still 2 timeouts remaining. They can really work their way through methodically the rest of this match, now 11-7.
They're very much so in it, but you have to put a run together right now. They need 4 to catch up. The Vibe needs 4 to win.
Sarah Sponsel, just her 2nd ace of the season. She is in there recently as the starting setter with Dayong Lee injured. Been on injured reserve since late March. Here is Sponsel once again, serving at Hentz. Predictable result, and they're in system for Vicini.
And she definitely did not mean to serve at Hentz. She was going for that 5 zone. She had some success there with that ace earlier because Leah Edmond was already breaking to go attack the ball, so she broke a little too early. She had success there, just aired a little too far on Hentz's side, because if you serve at Hentz, she's going to take care of it.
Pia Timmer back in there as a service sub. Has been a starter for a good part of the season, being used in a service sub role today, and they can't cover it, and so Atlanta's 2 points away. I think now you'll probably see one of those 2 remaining timeouts from Hanif Park. Turning around, and now they will use a timeout. Still 1 left for San Diego. 13-8 here in the 5th set to 15.
It's not over till it's over. San Diego is 100% still in this. We have seen them come back by more than this, but it's going to start with a good pass and a good side out, and then you have to be aggressive behind the service line, just like Sponsel just was.
Let's zoom in once more on March 28th in Georgia. That match, first set, Atlanta led 23-17. San Diego, 6-0 run. Wound up winning the first set at deuce. 4th set, Atlanta match point 24-17. San Diego 7-0 run to send it to deuce at 24 apiece. Atlanta won the final 2 points from there to win the match, but there have been 2 different 6-0 plus runs in the red zone for San Diego against Atlanta in the most recent match. They're going to have one right here.
And that shows mental fortitude, grit, the ability to dig in, not think about the score, and just go to work. That is such an impressive run by them, and you're right, they're going to need it now, and it starts with a pass.
First thing, it's tough to side out against Timmer. Goes short there, get a good pass out of it, but Atlanta with a solid block touch. Lewis into Pittman. Edmond working back in transition. Atlanta, great hitter coverage. Once again, Edmond, 3rd try, gets through this time. What a point by Atlanta, covering their hitters and sending it to match point.
Covering is such a selfless part of the game, and it is mandatory when you're playing a team like San Diego, who is so good at blocking. See, Reagan Pittman, she did so good at closing on those rallies before, but right there, just couldn't get close one-on-one situation.
Out of system against match point. San Diego will need a 6-0 run to stay in this match. Bedard Hani to the court, there's one.
No matter the outcome of this match, I think the players that came in off the bench have been the star on both sides of the net. Bedard Hani has been incredible, swinging so high, coming up so clutch. Same with Mara Beeson and others.
And specifically those 2 right sides coming in. It's going to help these teams going forward to have their presence. Decent pass. Beeson rejected. That's 2. San Diego needs 4 more straight.
That's San Diego's 15th block of the match. Time in and time out, they have been locked in, and especially against a balanced team like Atlanta, that is really difficult to produce those numbers.
Been on par lately for what San Diego's been doing as a blocking team. As Atlanta going to take a little bit of time to ice Tabron here, needing some floor cleaning on their side. The added bonus, he iced the server. Tabron. Taylor Head with the pass. Beeson for the match. There. So San Diego has won 3 consecutive points and a timeout taken by Atlanta.
Trying to ice Maya Tabron again, but Tabron, just a rookie, still extremely experienced in these high-pressure situations. 6th rotation player at SMU. She knows how to serve the ball in the court in those high-pressure situations, but it takes the mental fortitude to go back, give an aggressive serve. San Diego is a relentless, gritty team. They refuse to die. They are sticking in this and really pressing Atlanta.
Remember, you also go back, you mentioned it, Madison, March 13th at Orlando. Valkyries had a league record 9-match winning streak. 3-2 win for San Diego. So there are some overarching trends, that and the large runs historically against Atlanta late in sets, that going to give San Diego a sense of belief, but they still need 3 straight at least on Tabron's serve from here. It's hard to keep an offense like Atlanta at bay and have them at least once not be in system and just put you away with all of the options they have at their disposal. Tabron off the timeout. Oh, deeper serve. It's going to stay in, so Head passed it. Oh, wait, Edmond went in the net there on the follow-through. So that's 4 in a row.
Tabron is really moving that serve-receive line front to back. She's serving the zone. She's making the opposing serve-receive line think. I almost thought that was going out, but it wasn't. That was beautiful placement by her.
Otherwise known as some yo-yoing.
Yep.
Here on match point, Lewis is down. Corey Lewis finally ends it. Despite the 4-0 run at the end for San Diego, Atlanta wins in 5, and they have tied the Orlando Valkyries for the all-time record 9-match Pro Volleyball Federation winning streak.
Corey Lewis is unfazed. She is confident. She's so calm in these big-time moments. Beautiful pass, nice in-system play. Marley Monserrat knows Corey Lewis is one of the most efficient attackers in the league, so I love the decision to feed her on match point and let her do what she does best, which is take care of the ball.
9 straight victories for Atlanta. The last time Atlanta lost was March 1st at Orlando, and the updated standings now, San Diego falling further back. Atlanta now even in the wins column with Omaha, but a lot more matches played, so still 3 back in the loss column with just 5 left to play for Atlanta. Your final thoughts, Madison?
My final thoughts is that San Diego has so much to be proud of. They're so extremely talented. It was just Atlanta that got the better part of this matchup, because in the 5th set, they took control. They are so deep. The newcomers, the new players to the floor that got the starting were just so impressive, really fun to watch, and yet again, another classic.
Bernard Hani led San Diego with 14 kills, but White, Beeson, and Edmond all had 15 plus for Atlanta. For Madison Fitzpatrick and our entire crew, I'm AJ Cannell saying so long from Viejas Arena in San Diego. That's going to do it here from sunny California.